podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Let them come. Let them come.
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to Achtung Millwall. My name is Nick Hart. You're listening to the number one Millwall podcast. Joining me for not Monday but Tuesday with Merv is the man himself, Merv Payne. Merv, how you doing, mate?
Good, thanks, Nick. Yeah.
Excellent. We're speaking, listeners, obviously in the wake of last night's strong 1-0 win, in my opinion, over Watford. But first, Merv, I wanted to take us off on a slight tangent. I'm just, as I was looking to log on with Merv, listeners, I'm looking at, it's actually a post by Gabriel Sutton repeating Sky Sports News. And we've touched on this with Ben the other day, but the EFL board, Merv, are talking about expanding the Championship playoff system to include teams finishing 7th and 8th. With this has got widespread backing from club executives, Sky Sports News understands. So the top 8 will be involved in a kind of a playoff leading to the Wembley final. So rather than top 6, it'll be top 8, which is similar to how they do it, I believe, in the National League, where they have a kind of a semi-final system with, I think, the 3rd and 4th go straight into the semis with home advantage or whatever, and then the rest of them play off to get into those semis and then play off to get into a final. So it's a bigger, more pumped up, expanded top 8 playoff system. Gabriel is against it. He's saying it detracts from the competition and that you could have teams that finish 8th in the Championship, which may have included Millwall at one point, Merv, going into the Premier League. I mean, this is all about paydays, isn't it? I mean, the shot at the Premier League, but also the television coverage, which absolutely loves playoffs. It's TV gold. How do you feel about that, Merv? Top 8 potentially.
Yeah, it's interesting. I heard about it the other day, and yeah, it is copying the National League system.
Yeah,
where I think there's a bit more jeopardy because I think they call them qualifiers. I think when the 8th and 7th place teams play 5th and 6th, and I think it's just over one leg. The higher up team gets the home advantage.
Yeah,
and there's a lot more jeopardy involved. It could be interesting, but yeah, I mean, it might cheapen it a bit. But two things immediately sprung to mind for me. The first is, I've not got the stats in front of me, but I think in 8 seasons in the Championship, I think Millwall finished 8th, maybe 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, we seem to come 8th a lot, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly been our most common final placing. So you can probably bet your life that if this comes into being, we will almost certainly finish 9th 3 years on the bounce. And something else, I can imagine Palace getting relegated from the Premier League on purpose, just so they can finish 8th and get promotion to back to the Premier League. Because that's just the sort of thing Palace would do. Because as we know, Palace have the record for the lowest amount of points to qualify for the playoffs and win the bloody playoffs. So yeah, there's a few red flags for me, but who would say no to getting into the playoff or to having a shot at a Wembley final and a place in the Premier League, having finished 8th, almost halfway down the table? You know, it's.
Yeah, I mean, Gabriel makes the point that it dilutes the competition in the sense of it should be, to produce a kind of a creme de la creme idea, Merv. But I personally think to finish 6th is the dilution in that, in a sense.
Yeah,
and,
it is. Yeah.
Some fairly mundane teams have finished in 6th spot over the years.
Well, we've broken the seal all round now, haven't we? I mean, you've got, how many teams have we got in the Champions League this season? Is it 7?
Something like
6
that.
I think we've got 7 teams. So we've got basically a third of the Premier League are playing in a competition designed originally for the champions of each.
It was an elite of the elite. It was the champions team, it meant something, Merv. I mean, I'm not going to knock a Champions League winner, but I don't. No. It doesn't for me as an old git. It doesn't carry quite the weight of the greats of the past that achieved that.
It shows that nothing will stop them in the pursuit of just yet more riches and more TV money and more sponsorship. It's an unstoppable train, isn't it? Really. So, I seem to remember people were against the original playoffs. Back in the 80s, when they kept mooting it, and they tried all sorts to get people's interest in the game. It sounds quite funny now to talk about it, but to try and revive interest and get attendances back up, I think the first thing they did was have 3 points for a win instead of 2, and that didn't really do much. But then I remember the very first mention of playoffs, everyone said, "Oh, you're Americanizing the game," and look where we are now. I mean, we're not far off of having Coldplay coming on at half time, are we? Sort of thing.
Well, I was watching the
so-
Premier League coverage the other night. I hadn't realised, but they've allowed cameras to walk onto the pitch now to get really in amongst the goal celebrations after the after the goal.
and then they have to apologise for the bad language.
The bad language,
ironic,
and
sorry.
Did I see half-time interviews with managers? Is it another thing that's going on?
Half-time interviews. Yeah, like I say, we're already jumping the shark, aren't we? So nothing surprises me at all, really. I mean, how long before? No. Yeah, I mean, how long before the entire Premier League is entered into the Champions League? I don't know. It's just I mean, they fought against a Super League at the end of the 80s, and they got it really in the Premier League, or the little elite that you've got now in the Premier League. They fought against the European Super League a few years ago, and they've basically got their way now.
Well, it's a backdoor competition.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so they've. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's probably on the cards. Yeah, but you just got to let them do what they do now, really, and just get on with it.
I mean, it's on the cards, and I think it's almost. I'm not a betting man, but I would certainly put money on it. I doubt you get very good prices, listeners, because I think it will happen. And the driver is the same reason that Millwall find themselves playing on a Monday night, and that's television coverage, which equals money. And as long as that funds the game, which I can't see any obvious reason why it won't, it's the great kind of obsession of our times, football, isn't it? It's consume everything in its path, and you're either on the train, so to speak, or you're nowhere. And hence us finding us on a Monday night. I couldn't make it down there last night, listeners, so I watched it on the Dread TV. But a good performance for me overall, Merv. It's quite interesting doing the voicemails that will follow, Merv, and my conversation, because opinions vary so much as whether it was a good or a bad performance. I thought it was a pretty good performance given the circumstances. How did you see the win last night?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I saw it from a strange perspective as well, because after my histrionics last week in the Palace game, I didn't want to my wife had to put up another hour and a half of shouting and screaming at the television, and then tapping away on my phone onto X. So I decided I wasn't going to post on social media anything more than a like during the game, and I was going to watch we were going to watch the first half together on the television.
Yep.
And then I was going to switch to Married at First Sight and watch the second half of the match on the laptop, because honestly, this is 3 games in a row now that we've been on Sky or on the. And honestly, watching us on Sky is just so much more stressful than being there.
It is. The tension of the second half was quite strong for me, Merv. I don't know how it was in the ground.
It's not just that. I realised last night what it was, because I was finding it really hard not to sort of, vent about little things, which in the cold light of the day or the following day are meaningless, really. But the thing is, things like Coburn's first half miss, they showed obviously from about 4 or 5 different angles, and every single time it was more infuriating. But I think when you're in the ground, it's quite inconsequential. You can see Coburn's near the goal, the ball comes across. You don't really know what's happened, so you get on with it and you move on.
And you don't have the intimate view of it all, do you?
And like I say, the commentator had to apologise for bad language because they've got microphones up every orifice of every player. It's just so I ended up watching.
Married at First Sight. There's a leap.
Exactly. Yeah, complete opposite. It's I've always vowed never to watch that sort of thing. Married at First Sight. Towie, Made in Chelsea, all that sort of stuff. I don't even class them as reality TV. Really, I have my own category for them. I call them cuntertainment. But me and my missus got hooked on it a little while ago. And
it's like a confessional show here, listeners. Do come on if you want to pour your heart out about your choice of viewing. Whether that's MasterChef or whatever.
Someone did catch me out, sort of posting on X about it. But it was after the game had finished. But it was. I had to do so. It was a way of relieving my angst to post. But it was a different way of watching the match.
Conversations taking the turning I didn't expect at the start of recording.
It was a lot less stressful than with the sound right down in the second half. But overall, I mean, a lot of plus points. I thought Joe Bryan was really good.
Yeah, I agree. Good
really
performance.
Yeah. We've always said, as an attacking fullback, as a wing back, he's so good, and they looked really nervous of him whenever he had the ball, and he put some really dangerous ball. He worked well with Imaku,
Yeah.
Ballo, and Mazu Sacco. That's a right mouth.
Yeah.
Really good. I think the only thing they're short of is 90 minutes legs in the Championship. In a funny sort of way, they're a silver lining of the injury crisis we're going through, because I don't think they'd have got a look in this soon.
No.
If we didn't have this horrendous injury.
They will be fed in like 15-minute slots at the end of the game, wouldn't they? Yeah.
In the under-23s or something.
Yeah.
Starting, both doing really well. I mean, obviously Mazu Sacco's little jinking run led to the free kick, which Negley put away really nicely.
Yeah.
What you saw was the classic, which we've seen before now, is how much different the game is when we actually get that first goal or get an early goal, and the team seems to settle a bit more.
Yeah, it's a confidence thing, isn't it? We do seem to look stronger holding the lead.
I mean, Ballo and Mazu Sacco have come from a very different sort of football into the Championship against, say, Watford are a decent side. There were a lot of people's tipped to be, in the promotion hunt.
They mentioned that on the commentary, didn't they? They're tipped to be in the top six.
And they're not doing it.
No.
And, we were in danger of going into October without a home win, with Coventry and West Brom at home, which is going to be really tricky. So it was a massive win. And to keep the clean sheet as well, a few more good saves from Bender. But I mean, all round, apart from what seems like the ongoing injury list, which I think...
Yeah, that seems to get ever longer, doesn't it? I mean, obviously, Ivanovic, apparently, listeners, injured himself at Crystal Palace, hence the half-time looking.
Apparently it was a shoulder ligament.
Apparently.
Alex Neil doesn't think it will keep him out too long, but I think we saw Leonard go off, didn't we?
He made the substitution rotation sign, didn't he? Late and left. Having got a knock. I mean, he's always We've actually enjoyed a good period of good health with Ryan Leonard, because I mean there was a period he was out for ages.
He was the original sick note, wasn't he? He was the original
the Mingars, that we put in the washing machine.
If we could get a season out of him, we'd see a different player, and we did. And it's just a shame we can't get that through other players in the team. But I understand. I saw an article on News at Den earlier today where Alex Neil was saying a lot more of the players who are injured are starting to train again. They're not quite at match fitness level yet, but it's apparently the picture is starting to look a lot better.
Well, that's good news. That's good news.
I think you mentioned Billy Mitchell could be in contention at Swansea on Saturday.
Okay.
Femi Aziz has stepped up his training, so that's encouraging.
That's good news.
If we can get 4 or 5 bodies back in the squad, before the likes of Coventry and West Brom come down the Den, that will be handy, because we're going to need a strong squad for next month. It's going to be a tricky one.
Absolutely. Kundal was out last night, just to add to the
list.
It's actually such a long list, you forget who's on it really. But I thought overall we contained Watford. I thought they weren't dangerous in front of goal, but they had kind of a sense of impending danger through the game, but without actually producing much until the late stages. The goal that we scored was incredible technique, Merv. I mean,
really good
to be central right on the edge of the penalty area line, and to lift it over a wall into the top corner. It requires some technique.
It does to be so close. Yeah, he just stroked it in, didn't he? He just passed it in. It does show. He has got really, really good technique. The 3 goals he's got for us have all shown really good sort of technique and some good skill. I
really like him. A lot of people saying he's misplayed. He's out on the wing.
I think he is. I don't think he's being played in his ideal position, but I
suppose that might change with some of these returning bodies, Merv, once we're getting back to a fuller squad. I mean, Watford didn't really threaten much. We had that howler of a miss by Coburn. I do feel for the boy.
I do.
That was a great passing, little dinky passing from Ryan Leonard, which he really should be hitting the target from where he was, and he contrived to put it wide. Sometimes it just won't happen for. I mean, Steve Morrison went through something very similar. Merv,
he did.
Couldn't score for Toffee for it was quite a long time, wasn't it, before he started?
Well, funny you mentioned that, because someone mentioned last night. Someone said that he's too nice. He needs to be more. He needs to be those horrible centre.
Well, hence the Kenny Jackett conversation.
Yes. That was
You know,
it. That's that piece in Michael Calvin's
yeah,
brilliant book Family,
yeah,
when Morrison was involved in a clash with an opposition player,
yeah.
and Jacket asked him what he'd said to him, and he basically
And
said,
he
"Are
said
you all right?" And
sorry.
he said, "No, you don't say sorry. Are you all
No,
right? You
that's
say, you say, you do that to me again, you cunt, I'll flatten you." And that transformed the play. You have got to be nasty, even if it's only for the 90 minutes. But as a striker, you've got to be nasty. You've got to be
you got to
ruthless.
find like an alternate personality, even if it's not your face to the world. You got to dig into the devil almost, haven't you?
Yeah, like when boxers step into the ring, you can touch
Yeah.
gloves beforehand and hug afterwards, but when you're in the ring, you want to kill each other.
I
You have that.
haven't met Josh Coburn. I was at the media day, listeners, and he was around, and he seemed like a
Yeah,
very pleasant kid, Merv. You know,
yeah. He looks like the sort of bloke you'd be happy your daughter brought home.
yeah.
Very nicely turned out.
He might
Yeah.
even have featured in a church choir at some point in his life. He had that kind of cherubic kind of look.
He does,
But he
doesn't
does
he?
need
Yeah,
to find the Herlock. He needs to find something, doesn't he?
he has to find the angry man within,
Yeah.
definitely, and the fans will appreciate it, and I think it'll work for him. But
And
he does.
it will turn the boo boys around. There's one or two voices.
Oh yeah, it won't take much. Yeah, I know
No.
there are a lot of people on his back at the moment, and it must be hard. But
Yeah.
all it will take. I mean, he's in good company at the moment. We're going into October, and neither of our
No.
quite pricey strikers have scored a goal yet, which is a bit of a worry.
Yeah.
But it won't take much. It will take a couple of goals, and hopefully he'll kick on.
Some world class saves towards the end. And obviously, this actually touch on the penalty shout. Actually, before we go back to Bender and his saves, get match saving saves. I mean, the penalty in real time. I wouldn't say I had sympathy for the referee, but I thought it was touch and go as to whether it looked. You see so many strikers now going down very lightly, but when you see it in slow motion from all of the angles that you've mentioned, Merv, it looked like very strong, and as Alex Neil put it, a Stonewall penalty. We don't seem to get those decisions at the Den, mate, do we?
No, I mean, again, the ref didn't exactly cover himself in glory again. There's a lot of bizarre decisions. I mean, they seem to be getting free kicks as soon as we touch them, and once again, Coburn can be wrestled to the floor.
Yeah,
and sort of like clotheslined, whatever, and yet the referee just weighs play on it. It does seem a bit strange. Again, sometimes that's a consequence of watching it on Sky because you see things more clearly. But yeah, not a brilliant performance from a chap who's I think he's a Premier League referee, isn't he?
Is he? I wasn't impressed by him.
I saw someone mention he's a Premier League referee, and
wasn't impressed at all. I mean, they seem to have a dual system. We keep hearing about two-tier things in life. There's a two-tier system for Josh Coburn, who can be rugby league wrestled, and also for Jake Cooper, who can also have men clinging to his every limb. And that's not a problem. That's fine. But I don't know. It goes across all referees, it seems. So I don't know what to make of that.
It seems to be if you're the big striker, then it's okay for you to be battered. But if you can't get any advantage yourself, I can't. I'd like to think if I was a player out there, I'd at least want to ask the referee why they can get away with doing that. Literally wrapping their arms around him and throwing him to the floor at times. I mean, we saw it at Sheffield United.
Yeah,
we saw it against Wrexham. And we saw it again last night. It's quite bizarre.
Two good saves. Well, one great save and two good saves. One great save, shall we call it? The shot from the edge of the penalty. Most of the Watford shots were from the edge of the pen.
Yeah.
And this one was on target. About 80 minutes, Merv. And Bender batted it forward. So about the only thing you could maybe criticise it for. He got behind it and it fell into the path of the oncoming striker, who thankfully was on his wrong foot apparently, and he put it over like I might do if it fell to my wrong foot. He put it in the same place as I would do. So we got a good save combined with a touch of fortune there, because the goal was open for him really if he could have got behind it. But the late save, which was the nod down from the corner, wasn't it? And then caught on near the line by a striker.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just instinctive brilliance.
It was reflex, wasn't it? Yeah, it was good. Yeah, that seems to be. I think we discussed last time. A lot of goalkeepers seem to have a forte, or not obviously the best in the world or all rounders, but his forte does seem to be shot stopping.
Yeah.
And he's very good at that. He proved that at Sheffield United as well. So he's probably saved us a few points this season. To be fair, he's coming for some criticism with other aspects of his play, but he certainly won us a couple of points there at least.
No, absolutely. Massimo Longo was given the Sky Man of the match. I think Joe Bryan would be in with a good shout as well from a Millwall perspective as well. But it was a decent overall showing. I thought we contained them very, very well. They didn't really have many chances in front of goal, and that's all you can do, Merv.
I think for me, Imaku again looks good in the build-up.
Yeah.
He's got great pace. His work ethic is brilliant. He works his socks off. But again, it's just that final decision that frustrates me, because it always seems to end up with him just running into the defenders. Rather than
beating a man is not his strong. He's better with the ball past his man and running onto things. That's
and then getting an early ball in. I think he actually just needs a little bit of coaching. But it is very frustrating at the moment when he gets that ball and surges down the wing, gets towards the box, you get excited, and then he just walks to a defender, and you can see defences. I think we saw it against Wrexham. Defences almost start to know what he's going to do and know exactly how to play against him to snuff him out. But again, it's something. Hopefully,
he can work on that.
Develop. He's only young. He's still very young, but he's been encouraging how well he's played starting for us this season. I think.
So there's some good performances all round last night. A win that puts us into 10th position, listeners, after 6 games. A bit early yet to start to talk in these terms, but 10 games is generally seen as the point where you can start to say, yes, this is the table shaping up. But that's not a bad start. We're equal points at least to Coventry in 6th spot. And as Alex Neil said, Merv just 2 points off a Stoke in 2nd position. So, given that it's been a tough start, I think that's a pretty good position, by the 6-game mark, personally.
Yeah, I think we've had worse starts with not stronger squads, but with less injuries. Put it that, but with more bodies available, we've had we'd probably be You'd expect us to be closer to the bottom, given the amount of times he's had to chop and change the team and the formations and stuff like that. It's definitely a plus. And you can only hope that the players come back from injury. And
it's going to be interesting to see who's available. Swansea, we've got a trip down to Swansea Saturday morning.
I think if he can get a reasonably settled squad leading up to Christmas, then we can definitely be there or thereabouts going into the new year, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Swansea is the proverbial difficult place to go, isn't it? Especially on a Saturday morning. But fingers crossed, they're just 2 points behind us on 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. So it's going to be an interesting game Saturday. Fingers crossed that we get some bodies back, Merv.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff, Merv. I really appreciate you coming on the show, mate. We're going to take a short break now, dear listeners, and when we come back, we'll be with the voicemail. Stay tuned. I want to give a shout out to our friends John Kelly and Will Scott over at News at Den. Many of you will know that News at Den is the go-to site for everything Millwall. It's part of the Southwark News, the only newspaper with a dedicated Millwall reporter who follows the lines all over the country. What you may not know is that Southwark News is an independent small business with no investors, no big media company, nor multi-millionaire owners. It's a rare breed, a local paper for local people. And John and Will get the Millwall stories that no one else can. A lot of their stuff is free to read, but the in-depth pieces are for subscribers only. It's just £3 a month or £30 a year, and we think it's a proper bargain. By paying, you're supporting local journalism done the right way. You can sign up by visiting southwarknews.co.uk and clicking on the News at Den section. southwarknews.co.uk, click on News at Den Plus.
Achtung, Millwall.
Welcome back to the show, dear listeners. Huge thank you to Merv. But it's time for us now, dear listeners, to move on to everyone's favourite part of the week. Yes, it's the voicemail show. I've got quite a few to get through following last night's 1-0 win over Watford. So we're going to kick us off with 3 together. We're going to start off with Rob Abbott, Aussie Dave and Lawrence Binney. Take it away, Rob.
Morning, Nick. Rob Abbott here. Just a brief message in regards to the victory last night and what I see as a crucial 3 points. Definitely good to get that first league win at home, and let's hope we can make the Den a bit of a fortress again, like the back end of last season. I thought the first half we were very good. We moved the ball very well. I thought Joe Bryan was outstanding in the first half, linking up really well with Ballo and Amaku. And then I thought Derek in midfield was very, very good. stamped his authority on the game. Also, Derek won a little bit of trickery to win the free kick that Negley put away, class free kick. It's just a shame we didn't get that second to sort of take the game away from Watford. Coburn is probably going to be getting a lot of stick again online, but yeah, as a striker, you need to score goals. Number one job. Unfortunately, he's missed a few sitters this year. His overall play, I'm impressed with, considering he gets pulled, dragged, hassled, thrown everywhere. He keeps going. He is getting better at holding the ball up and bringing others into play. He presses really well, but it's just getting that goal. So hopefully it will come soon. But overall, first half, like I said, I thought we were very good. We deserved that lead. Second half, game changed a little bit. We didn't have as much ball compared to the first half, and Watford come into it a bit. They were always going to look. They're chasing points like every team, but they've not had a good start considering how many signings they've made and another new manager. But it's Watford. This guy will probably get sacked soon, but I don't really care about them. But yeah, second half, not as much ball, but that was a classic Millwall performance. Everyone was putting in 100% effort, bodies on the line. Work rate was superb, and look, we got across the line. Alex Neil had to make some changes. He went to a back three, back five, whatever you call it, and it worked. Matched them up, and it's a clean sheet, and the 3 points are ours. Two main talking points, I think, of the second half are, one, how the ref did not give us the penalty on Langstaff. It's so blatant. If we get the penalty, we slot that away, the game's taken away. And then I think the other main talking point, I think, is Bender's save. I'm not too sure if he knew much about it, but he was in the right place at the right time, and it's hit him. And yeah, he's kept a clean sheet again. So overall, vital win. Pretty good start to the year compared to normal. We've played 6 games. We're currently, 10th? I think goal difference keeping us out of the playoff spots. And we're notoriously a much better team post-Christmas. So signs are looking good. Also looking good, we're getting more bodies back. I read this morning that Billy Mitchell should be available for Saturday. Will come onto the bench, which get him back up and running, adds a bit more depth to the centre midfield area. And I think Ivanovic will be back on Saturday as well. So things are looking up. Long way to go, loads of ups and downs, but good start to the year. 3 big games up and coming before the next international break. So let's go one game at a time. Have a good day.
Nick, Aussie Dave here after that Watford game. Can only describe as workmanlike and turgid. And to be honest, I thought we were lucky to get a win against a very poor Watford side. My main emotion, sheer relief, and also a bit angry with Alex Neil. And that's the focus of my little talk here. I want to preface all my comments by clearly acknowledging we've got about 5 or 6 first-team players out. And the only good game this season was the first one against Norwich, where we had the full team and we played well. But all the other league games, we've been very poor. What I want to pick up on 3 things with Alex Neil. The first thing, why does he persist with playing Negley on the right? As soon as he gets the ball, he turns inside, turns his back on Lenny. So there's no right wing interplay. So no crosses from the right. It just seems to meander inside, cause congestion, go in the cul-de-sacs, or what we call in my younger day, dead ends, and ends up quite often with nothing to show for it. You compare it on the left where you got a Maku and Bryant interplaying and Ballo joining in, and there was a lot more penetration, and probably most games, most of that effort is coming down the left, and I think Negley's a reason for that. Why Alex Neil is not playing him at number 10, and we got a few on other options, play Ballo on the flank, RBW, Howland, someone. He hasn't tried that, and I don't know why he's persisting with that. The second thing with Alex Neil is how is he coaching Coburn? Coburn concentrates 100% of his effort of backing into the defender behind him and invariably gets all tangled up. And I agree with the rest most of the time. He shouldn't be getting free kicks. Why isn't he concentrating on the ball coming, look at the ball, concentrate what he's going to do with the ball, and then if he gets fouled, I suspect he'll get a free kick. But just don't like the way he's being coached. How many centre-forwards play like him in the Championship? And the third thing is to do with Alex Neil and whatever half-time talks he's doing. Our 3 home games, we've been dire in the second half. I think he gets Rowett to come in and give the team an inspiring talk and tell them, back to the wall, lads. Let's put an extra defender, defend what we got, sneak away with something. And the second halves have been appalling. He needs to gee him up, and you've got to feel he's got the character to do that, but gee him up for the second half, cold blow lane end, but we never get that. So I've had a good go at Alex Neil, but I'm really happy with him as a coach, and maybe when we get the full squad, we'll see something a lot better. Finally, how about something positive? Players last night, I thought the defence played well, and particularly Cranmer, who was my man of the match. And I thought Barlow and Del Boy, the new boys, not as good as against Palace, but I thought they showed some encouraging signs, and it's only upwards with those. So we've got Swansea on Saturday, who actually are a good team. I'm quite worried about that game. You never know. Come on, you Lions.
All right, Nick, it's Lawrence Binney here calling after Mill 1, Watford 0. I think before talking about the performance and the merits of individual players, I think it's just important to say that was a big win today, one that was really, really needed. 3 losses on the trot at home. It wouldn't quite have been disastrous, but, you know, we need to win those home games to keep the fans happy. And, yeah, you could sort of see it turning on Alex Neil a little bit, potentially, or start to turn that way. Or here, you know, a few questions might start being asked of him if we hadn't seen that through, but we did. I think there was a lot of effort, a lot of endeavour on an individual level. I don't really think any player deserves to be criticised in terms of their commitment today, but it was a bit uneven. There are a few players who look a bit off the pace, either because they're not fit, they don't fit the system, or they're still adjusting to the league. I think Barlow and Sacco fall into that latter category. Like, I think Sacco in the first half was a contender for man of the match, and the second half faded and looked a little bit lost, but, you know, he's still getting used to the pace. I think similarly with Barlow, who had moments here and there, but was a little bit lightweight sometimes. Yeah, but, you know, I'm encouraged by what I saw, you know, considering it was only their second appearances. The Negley experiment on the right, despite the goal, which was very good, for me, continues to be a problem. It's quite frustrating watching him get into a very decent position on the right with an overlap and cut in constantly, because he's not kind of confident on his right foot. If you're going to play him on the left, or play him behind the striker. I just don't really see what he offers in that role in the system at the moment. Longo got man of the match. Can't really complain too much about that. Does everything very kind of neat and tidy. Good player. Brian, I thought was exceptional. He had one of those games where he looks like a proper sort of promotion-winning fullback, as he was for Fulham. Cooper and Crum are very, very solid at the back. I think the last line of defence especially did really well today, especially when the midfield wasn't giving them much cover. Coburn, it's starting to turn against him, isn't it? There were a few ironic cheers when he won a header today. And I actually didn't think he was that bad. I think he really put himself about. It's just like a striker who doesn't score and is just there to kind of win headers. It's just like, I mean, that could be, you might as well just get Matt Smith back. I mean, Matt Smith actually had more of a goal for it. So, I feel for him. I really do. I think it really could have cost us as well, that miss in the first half, because that would have made it 2-0, and that probably that probably kind of kills Watford's hope. But they came out in the second half with renewed optimism and energy, and on another day could have got a point. But, let's not dwell on it. Really good save from Bender for that chance at the end. Overall, I think a hard-working display. We need players back, but it seems like we are losing more players. We're losing players to injury at a faster rate than we're getting them back. So, God knows what's going to happen over the next few weeks. But, much needed win, and on to Swansea on Saturday.
I watched last night's game on the telly, dear listeners. Couldn't get down the den last night. Monday night, for crying out loud. Who plays football on Monday nights? It was just awkward for me, so I watched it on TV. And I had to laugh before the start of the TV coverage. They have an advert for Gorilla Tape, which fixes leaks from your plumbing. It's like goes around joints, weak points on pipework, and forms a temporary fix. I wondered whether there's anything that we could get maybe a job lot of that, take it down to Calmont Road with the number of injuries and medical cases we've got there. Don't know what the answer to that is. We do seem to suffer with it to an extraordinary level. Cundall not being involved last night. Going back to the boys there, Rob, Ozzy, Dave and Lawrence, big thank you to the three of you boys. It was a big win, Lawrence, wasn't it? I must admit I was getting a bit itchy and scratchy going into it personally. And all three of the chaps have mentioned Coburn and his miss. That was a howler. I can't put it any other way. I don't like to pick on the boys. He's young and I want to see him succeed. And he's doing a lot of hard graft up front. There are times where he's got two men clinging onto him, as I've said before on this show, rugby league style. It's the referees seem to let that go. They seem to have like a hierarchy of people who will and won't get decisions. Jake Cooper and Josh Coburn are on their list of people who will not get decisions no matter what. Very unlucky in some ways. He needs something to go in off of some appendage of his body. However it goes in, he needs to get that start. We've paid money for him, so he's not going to go anywhere for all the boo boys out there. Encouragement would always go a lot further than, derision. But this is the Den, and it's a hard venue when, things aren't working out for you. So I do feel for Josh Coburn. And I'd love for him to get a goal Saturday. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Whether he'll start or whether it be Mihailo, I don't know. We seem to have moved now to a one-striker system, which we look a lot better on. And names like Bello and Mazu Saku, I thought both did well last night. Interesting to listen to Ozzy Dave with his critiques of Alex Neil. I do kind of agree that Negley is a little bit lost on the right. And then he goes and pulls off that world-class chip almost into the net for the single goal that wins the game. He's a very, very talented boy. Using him correctly, well, that's what Alex Neil is paid to do. So, but I do take your point, Dave, about him being wasted out. He doesn't look a natural in that position, that's for sure. And as for Gary Rowett, he was on the half-time team. The pundits. I do agree about the second halves of games where we seem to shut up shop a little bit early for my taste, but then we are an injury hit squad, aren't we? So big thank you, Rob. Big thank you, Dave. Big thank you, Lawrence. We're going to move along now with the inimitable, the one and only Bobby T, Hassan Koulé, and then John Rankin. Stay tuned, dear listeners.
Bobby T, Nicker, achtungmillwall. Call me bonkers, I'll give you my fucking analysis. Dog bite and bollocks and a bit of passion, alright? Small bone dog bite, but I'm going on like I'm fucking bonkers. But you know what? Why change the team? Why did Brian come back in? Why did Cooper come back in? You said that already, Nick Hart. He's going to bring Cooper back in. Zach should have played. And Maku, again, don't want to know, just nothing to offer. Beats the last man. Nedgy, don't get me started. Yeah, wonder goal, but otherwise what? So, as they'd say in football, Monday Night Football, that was a fucking ugly win. An ugly win. I'll take it all day long. But Massimo Alongo, the rugby player, what does he offer? Experience, slide tackling, slow as fuck. Bobby T, the referee joke, yeah, Langstaff penalty, Cooper penalty. It's just, I mean, where has the Serb gone? He's gone missing. Have you seen the Serb? Have you seen the big Serb? Have you seen Mihailo? I told you his head got turned and they dropped him. He's not even in the squad. So I'm going to end it and say Coburn isn't for me. £5, 5 million, whatever you want to call it. Nedgley, yeah. Barrow, I mean, too light, man. And then Sacco, Del Boy Sacco, the old Daka Sacco, I'll be honest with you, his own debut, not brilliant, but hey, Bender, fucking big fucking Bender, what a save. As I said, I'll leave it here. Ugly win, don't care, no one likes us. Bobby T, signing off. Nick Hart, Bobby T, just got over. I got one more thing to end it on all. What baffles me is from Crystal Palace away, the team he put out, and we looked like not world beaters, but we really made it impressive. We go from playing like relaxed, beautiful football or the beautiful game to absolutely diabolical performance. Lucky 1-0 at home, Watford. No passion, no direction, no bite, no fight. Nothing. There was no structure there against Watford. It was awful. Bye for now. Bobby T.
Morning, Nick. It's Hassan here. Just thought I'd leave some thoughts and comments after last night's win against Watford. Yeah, it was a decent victory. We got the job done. End of the day, that's the main thing. I didn't want to call last night's game a must-win, but let's face it, like anything, the longer you leave something, the worse it feels. And I just thought, you know what, by hook or crook, let's just get a result. Let's just get a result last night and start the season off now. We've got wins away, we've got wins at home, we've got a win at home, should I say, and we can now push forward and start attacking this league. In terms of the lineup, again, do you know what, people were asking me beforehand, like, oh, what do you think the result's going to be? And to be honest with you, I don't know, because you don't know what team is going to be fielded, partly due to injuries. It's like a lick of short sauce, isn't it? Let's face it, you don't know what you're going to get. It's from game to game, it's just completely different. But no matter what happens, what I'm happy about is no matter which 11 is being put out, you can't fault effort. Effort is always there from people deputising and getting their, I suppose, getting their chance. At the end of the day, that's why we've got a big squad, because we've got players, key players who aren't playing, and you've got the so-called fringe players staking a claim. And you know, Mazu Zako, let's face it, I mean, another great performance. I think he completed the full 90 again, and I can't imagine when we signed him a few weeks ago that Alex Neil had him starting the first few games of him arriving. I really didn't think he had that in mind. He probably thought, you know what, let's keep him on 21, let's get him around the first team in the training ground, let him get used to London, get him used to his new teammates, start learning English. But I tell you what, he reads the game really well for such a young man. He doesn't do anything silly. When he gets the ball, he does play it simple. His closing down and reading of the game is fantastic. And again, 20 years old, he's come from the French game to the second tier English football. Some say he's up there among the top leagues in Europe, top 5, and he's dropped right in. Yes, he has a little moment here and there, but none of which so far cost us anything. And it has to be said, his willingness to run, to join the attack, forced a free kick in a dangerous area, which then obviously led on to Nedgley scoring the goal. I'll come on to him in a bit. So that's really positive to see. And you know what, I think we've been a little bit negative, I think, before today. Some performances were questionable, but it has to be said though, mate, once we've got everyone back and we've got 100% fully fit squad, if that ever happens, mind you, really, you know, realistically, we should be looking top 6, because we're doing a good enough job as it is with fringe players. Once we've got a full strength side back, you know, it's only going to help us even more so. So it's like a boiling pot just bubbling away there, you know, and we're not on full heat yet. As for the rest of the team last night, I think everyone put a good shift in. defence looked quite good. I think the formation helped, definitely. We looked much more. We didn't look so exposed, I thought, especially in the first half. We dominated Watford. They tried to get a passing game going, but we just nullified them. The one up top, he done the job, really. We packed that midfield. I thought that front three of Negley, Barrow, and Imaku caused all sorts of problems. I thought Negley had a very good game last night. I'm really, really happy that he scored, because I do like Negley. I'm a fan of Negley. He's a very skillful player. He's very silky, and he's become under a bit of criticism in the last couple of games. But that free kick, to be honest with you, when he first hit it, I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, he's under hit it. You know, keeper's just going to come and collect it. Obviously, watching it back, it was obviously, and had enough pace on it to clear the wall, and enough pace to get away from the goalkeeper. And I think he did say in his he's on an interview with Sky after the game that he saw the goalkeeper, he was too far to one side. So that's a good little bit of a observation there. I'm really, really happy for him that he got that goal. He deserved it. He has been playing well. Well, I say playing well, he's been working hard, and you know, a few questionable choices in passing in the last few games have gone astray, but playing in that front three, I know he was right wing, but he was not. He wasn't playing as an out and out winger. He was drifting in a lot, and he was pretty. He done well. I thought he done really well. He kind of swapped with Ballo a lot. I think they had Ballo in the middle, and Negley out wide with Amaku, and they kept swapping. So I'm happy for Negley to get a goal. I thought Ballo looked good and tidy in places. I think he started to tire towards the end, gave the ball away a couple of times. But overall, another good debut, home debut for him. Coburn, bless him. Honestly, you can't fault him for effort. You know, he puts his heart and soul into getting around the pitch, but it's just not happening for him in front of goal. You know, another gilt-edged chance that he missed in the first half, but you know, I don't get on players back. I don't like to get on players back. I try not to, but you know, hopefully that goal will come soon. I mean, if any, you know, anyone who's questioning him, just look at past Millwall strikers who have struggled to get off the ground. Steve Morrison is one. I remember when he struggled. He got one goal early on, and then couldn't score for love nor money. And we played, I want to say it was MK Dons at home, and he missed all sorts of chances. Couldn't hit a barn door, and then I think we were 2-0 up in that game. They came back to 2-2, and Morrow got a last-minute winner to win 3-2, and he never looked back after that. Gary Alexander before him, he didn't score until fucking Boxing Day, and he got a hat trick. So, you know, let's stay calm, let's stay positive. I know Mahalo was missing last night. I believe he picked up a shoulder injury against Palace. So hopefully he'll be back in the side. Apart from that, yeah, if I had to give any man in matches, they gave it to Luongo on TV. I thought Joe Bryan had a fantastic game. He was brilliant in defence. He was brilliant going forward. He was very influential. So I thought, yeah, he potentially could win man in the match last night. What was I say? Yeah, second half was a bit of a slog. We obviously they're always going to come out the traps, I think, especially after that first half showing. But I thought we dealt with them quite well. The only time they nearly scored when Bender made a point-blank save from their striker. But apart from that, I think we managed it quite well. I think when Alex Neil went to 3-5-2, that was a good tactical change, that, because we had to pack the midfield. I've got to say, I was really impressed with Will Smallbone. He's one of those players that you always know of him when he's playing for opposition, but you don't take much notice. But I can see why we signed him. He's got that assured head on him. He reads the game really well from what I saw. He broke up play. He's quite tenacious. When he came on the first few minutes, he was chopping people. When I think he laid the ball on for Ballo, who had a shot first time, the keeper saved. So he looked really positive. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Will Smallbone. He looked very good when he came on. And to be honest with you, that tactical change, it saw the game out. We cornered them and they couldn't do anything. They ran out of ideas after that and saw the game out quite comfortably in the end. So overall, happy to get that first win under the belt. Happy for some of the new lads to get some minutes at the Den, and looking positive. And on to the next one. I think it's Swansea, I believe, which is not going to be an easy place. I think the only time we can score there is Casper De Nor's playing and he's injured, so someone else has to score now. All right, Nick. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Hi, Nick. Hi, listeners. John Rankin just calling in. Well, that's a very useful 3 points and our first win of the season at home at the Den, 1-0 against Watford. Yeah, I mean, a game of two halves as well, to use the old cliche. I thought first half we were very, very good. We moved the ball around quite nicely. There was a lot of interest in midfield play. We've got a lot of players who are injured at the moment, and I was really impressed with Derek Makozako in the midfield. Ballo, the new boy. I thought our defence looked really good. Cooper and Crammer are forming a nice partnership. Lenny played well. Joe Bryan, Zach Sturge. When he came on, they was all very, very competent, very, very good. Just want to say a quick word about Camille Negley. Now, I watched Florian Wirtz play for Germany, and he's rated to be the most expensive and best attacking midfielder in the world at the moment. And I watched him the whole match against Germany, playing for Germany, and he did absolutely nothing. Hardly touched the ball, just floated around, wasn't really in the game, and then he stepped up and took a wonderful free kick and scored the goal. And that's what players of that quality are all about, really. They produce those moments, and Camille Negley produced that moment last night, and I'm so glad that it's coming together for him, because I've been a big supporter of Camille Negley, and I think the negative comments that he gets are completely unwarranted. You need a player who can produce that sort of match-winning moment. And I was watching the free kick, and the technique he used was, most interesting. It really was. If you actually watch it on YouTube or on Millwall TV, have a look at how he actually plays it into the net. And it was a kind of, just like a sort of a chip, but with a bit of spin on it. It was a really, sort of interesting technique, and it was so relaxed. And to get it up and down over the wall, right on the edge of the penalty area, I think was remarkable technique. And when you got a player like that, that's a talent that's got to be nurtured. He was playing out on the right again today a little bit. I'd prefer to see him in the middle, dictating the play a bit more, and being our playmaker along with Reece Bangor or Williams. So I think in that department we're looking good. Second half, I don't really know what happened. I don't know whether Alex Neil lost his bottle and said, right, we're just going to try and park the bus on this 1-0 advantage. If he did do that, and he did go to a 5 at the back with about 15, 20 minutes to go, I think that's extremely unwise, to be honest with you. If Watford, any other team, I think Watford were lacking anything, up front. They're very, very good in the midfield, a little bit shaky in defence, but across that sort of middle of the park, they got KMB who came on, and players of that nature, Loser, they're very, very good. They do lack that striking sort of impetus in and around the penalty area, and I think if they'd had a good striker, I think they would have beat us, to be honest with you. We had a clear-cut penalty. I was right on top of it because I was sitting in the cold blow lane end. An absolute stonewall penalty, ridiculous. Macaulay Langstaff touched the ball past the centre half, got the better of him, was going in on goal. He's going to score from there, because it was almost a repeat performance of the Norwich goal, but an easier chance, and he just got taken out. And the referee, who I thought was appalling last night, terrible ref. Where do these officials, why do they come to Millwall and do this? It's not as if our atmosphere was intimidating last night. I mean, it was pretty poor, to be honest with you. It was a very quiet night. Reminded me of, when we used to get sort of 3,000 down the old Den. You could hear a pin drop at some stages. The only flip side of not getting the penalty was it got the crowd behind the team, and we managed to see it through. So I just wanted to say a little bit about our attacking intent. I don't know where Ivanovic was. He wasn't on the bench. I think Coburn's really got to, there's a player there. I don't want to get on the kid's back too much. He's our record signing. But he's got to sort of have a rethink about how he handles the physical side of the game, because he's getting absolutely nothing from the refs. The centre-halves are just sort of, bear hugging him down to the floor. I think he's just got to go for it a little bit, and he's got to keep those centre-halves away from him. So one way you could do that is to, back into them, but at arm's length. Hold their shirt with his arm outstretched and stay off them. Try and get a metre between him and the centre-halves. But he's letting the centre-halves get right close to him, right tight on him, and they're just wrapping him up, putting their arms around him, which seems to be the way of modern football at the moment. Wrestling matches all over the place. But anyway, look, it's a very, very welcome 3 points at home. You can only play the teams in front of you, and a win is a win. We could have played brilliant and sort of fantastic total football and still come away 1-0. It's the same result, right? It's a results game, isn't it? So a 1-0 win at home, a good night's work, and we go on to Swansea. Come on, you Lions.
Fantastic stuff, John, and before John, Hassan and Bobby T. The Negley goal was fascinating, John. Just to go back to that for a moment, I was watching the same kind of technique that you've been referring to. It reminded me, for anyone who dabbles in the world of golf, if you get stuck into a bunker, you kind of got to get the ball up and normally over the lip of the bunker onto the green. You can't be you got to kind of raise it and then drop it almost, which is kind of what he did there. It was almost like a sand wedge type of shot underneath the ball and lift it up and over the wall and into the top corner. It was a fantastic piece of skill, and I love the Florian Wirtz comparison there, John. If anyone's listening from the club, do tell Camille Negley's been put in the same sentence as Florian. I think that's a great comparison. As for Coburn, Hassan has mentioned Josh Coburn and everyone really across the show, speaking about the deficiencies of Coburn's game. I'm reminded, listeners, of the passage in Family. It's obviously passed into legend. The famous conversation between Kenny Jackett and the young, not long out of Stevenage, Steve Morrison, who was famously trod on a defender's toe and said sorry to him, for which he was berated by Kenny Jackett, wasn't he? He was told to tell don't say sorry to the defender, call him a cunt and tell him he'll break his leg next time, and stuff like that. There needs to be a nastier streak, and I think that's what Josh is searching for. If I'm going to be the psychiatrist, get on the psychiatrist's couch here, listeners. I've not met Josh. I was around him at the media day, and you get a sense of the personalities, who's the big personalities, who are the quieter boys. Josh is doing a hell of a lot of work out there on the football field. He's wrestling some seriously experienced championship level defenders, strong men, and he's holding his own against them. But what he's not doing is the business end, which is getting in front of goal and imposing himself, I think, in the attacking, the offensive side in front of the goal, 6-yard box stuff. Now, whether he needs to step on someone's toes, call him a cunt, and snap him in half or something, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't advise that, but he needs to find that spirit. And I think if I were Alex Neil and his team, that would be the kind of advice I might even give Steve Morrison, who just got sacked out of Sutton, a ring, to ask him if he can come over and advise on how you get that nastier, you tap into the nastier side of your personality. Everyone's got it. It's the extent to which you bury it and keep it underneath the surface. That's what we're all culturally conditioned to do. But I do think that's what Josh needs to do from a business point of view. He needs to find the edge. And how he does that, I don't know. That's outside my pay grade, so to speak, listeners. But that, I think, is the issue. So a big thank you there to Bobby, to Hassan, and to John. We're going to play out the show now, listeners, with the remainder of the voice notes, which will be Barnsley, Martin Colwell, Matt Richards, Mike George, and Rob Woodford. So big thank you to everyone for submitting content to the show. Do give us a vote on the football content awards. I've been very cynical about them. But it would be lovely if we could get placed in we're up against it, we're always up against it, whatever we take on as Millwall fans, aren't we, as Millwall Football Club. I will stick a voting link in the show notes for this show and the others that we're producing for the next few weeks. If you want to join our gang of voice note contributors, you'd be more than welcome. do hit me up on X, direct message me. We can swap mobile numbers, and you could just WhatsApp me after the game with your thoughts and musings and whimsical imaginations of what you've just seen at Millwall. So there we are. Big shout out to everyone for the contributions. Thank you to you for listening, dear listeners. And from me, Nick Hart, it's Arrivederci Millwall till Swansea. Bye for now.
Hello, Nick. It's Barnsley here. A game of two halves, really. I think first half we played some good stuff. I think we, defensively, I think we looked very strong. I thought Brian coming back looked very, very assured. I think, going ahead there, I think he would deserve man of the match. I thought he was excellent tonight. I thought Ballo was class, absolute class. Delboy done very well for his own debut. And the free kick from Negley, well executed, but like you said, the goalkeeper was standing way too far to his right, and he put it in. That's all you can ask for, really. But to be honest, first half I felt we were so comfortable. I didn't see him ever scoring, and then I don't know. I just think second half, I think we were just sort of just trying to get the win. I think it was just, and Bender, absolutely fantastic save with his foot, great reflexes, but we shouldn't really be in that situation. And small bone come on. I thought he looked really good. I know he's a holding midfielder, but he was obviously pushed forward to support Coburn. But that shows how stretched we are, bringing a holding midfielder on to try and get up there with Coburn. And I think he played really well, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. But I think Coburn still struggling, just needs that goal, doesn't he? Bless him. Defensively, I think he's brilliant. I think he's won some good headers in defensive areas and coming back. He works hard, but this guy's going to be based on his goal scoring and putting chances away, and unfortunately nothing's really going for him. And obviously Ivanovic being injured, I hear, hopefully not too long, but it's put a lot of pressure on the forward line. I was I thought that Longo in the midfield was really good today, and Marco, he gets a lot of stick, but he's a player that always wants the ball, and he's not afraid, which is good. Nothing that shows confidence in a young lad. Just needs that final ball, and I don't know, he just needs something to go for him as well. A bit like Coburn, he puts one in the top corner, he's going to shine. But I think defensively he looked very, very good. Kramer was good, Leonard was good, and there was definitely a second goal on it for us. And Langstaff, what a great touch to get on the wrong side of the defender and ball down. It was a penalty for me, and what I've seen of it, I think it's a penalty. But unfortunately, we were lucky that we didn't concede after that, but it was definitely a penalty for me. But it's good for him to get in that position. Looks very sharp considering he's been out injured. But we're going to need him. We're going to a lot of players coming back, so hopefully the players will come back. But I think it's all about getting points on the board, and we did that tonight. But it wasn't pretty, but we take that, and we're up and running at home. So let that may continue, and off we go. So hopefully we can really improve our home form and not get so jittery towards the end. But pleased with the result, and we just need some players back, don't we? We're so short, but a win's a win. Anyway, mate, take care. See you later.
Hi, Nick. Hope you're well. Martin Colwell here, giving his thoughts on the Watford match on Monday evening, which was a hard-fought, scrappy battle in the first really cold evening match of this season. I think both teams looked like they were had misfits in the team. I think both teams were trying, but Watford certainly didn't look like a team, and obviously Millwall weren't because of all the changes they've had to make and all the new players they've got. Glad to see the free kick go in to give us a bit of a start, because I think we need that now, because we struggle a bit to score, and we're still struggling to score. But it was a lovely free kick. I mean, people knocked the goalie, but it was well struck. I remember coaching those type of free kicks whereby you're around the area and there's a wall and you've got to dink it over the top. But that kind of Swazi gave it with, taking the power off, because with those you have to take the power off but put spin on as well to get the dip in. And he executed it well, I think, and so full credit to Negley, who has that in his locker to do that, I think, and there's no point giving it to others like in Marco, because it's just going over the bar, isn't it? Maybe Joe Bryan could think it, but Marcos is just sailing over the bar. So a bit end to end, I thought, first half, and I thought we were on top probably for the first half an hour. Seemed to change when Joe Bryan got booked, and he was a little bit less adventurous, I thought, after that. But yeah, they came into it, and I think they were always going to ping it second half because they had to go for it. But as I say, they had players who were good on the ball, but they didn't seem to be able to coordinate themselves. And Mill had some good chances on the break, and they should have had a penalty, but we don't really get penalties at home, do we? But yeah, I mean, it looked like I know we've gone up the league, but it looked like a bottom half of the table game, didn't it, really, on a Monday night? Scrappy. And, we defended well and we got away with it a bit at the end, and I guess the fair result would have been a draw, but, we got away with it and badly needed points. We need some players to come back, really, for the Swansea game, because we can't keep putting out that team, really, because although they endeavoured to try, it's not really got the quality to be able to get us points in this league. And the Championship looks wide open this season. I mean, if I had to say teams, I'd say Ipswich and Leicester, but they're no great shakes. So, there's a chance for anyone, really, in this league, I think, this year. It's nowhere near as good as it was last year, I don't think. But going through the team, I think Bender was solid in goal. Made a bit dodgy coming out with those punches, I think he is, but made the save at the end with his feet, which is good. Ryan Leonard, too slow for me still. We need a right back, really, to play there, to be honest. He tries hard, Ryan Leonard, but I think he's just slowing down now. Joe Bryan was excellent until he got booked and then faded a bit. I am critical of Jake Cooper. As you know, I don't think he's good enough to be in a team that would be in the playoffs, but he had a good game last night. It's this sort of game, defensively anyway, it's like a scrappy battle at the back, getting stuck in. He managed to dominate their forwards, whoever their forwards were, because they kept interchanging, but he seemed to dominate them. I think when he goes forward, he needs to be the decoy, because I think, he got on the end of one, but I think he's just a decoy to take players out of the game and perhaps give someone else a header, but no one's really heading it, to be honest, there. Thought Kramer was excellent again. Quality player and much needed in the Millwall team at the moment. I would agree that Luongo should just get the Man of the Match award in front of Kramer. Did an excellent job there. Looks a good player. Won't last all season because of his age and playing all these games, but yeah, he was excellent. The new guys, Ballo and Mazusaka, they had endeavour and they tried. Lacked not the quality to do things at the end, but really just the experience and the know-how within the team to really do anything that was at the level that's needed in the Championship. But they both look promising players. I thought Adam Omaka was well off. I know they needed him as an outlet, but I think he was just running around in circles. And I know he was ill at half-time, but played on. But it was just an off night for him, really. He's not really got an end product, has he? I thought Negley was okay, but quiet, apart from his goal. I thought Coburn endeavoured well, and I think he got stuck in a bit more against big defenders. Although they kind of had the strength over him, he was doing better this game, I thought. Missed his chance. I don't think he's a natural goal scorer, to be honest. So, it's not the answer. And I know Ivanovic apparently has got a shoulder injury and so wasn't playing, but he does work hard. He does come back, Coburn, so I won't be critical of him. But yeah, I mean, a battling display. I liked Smallbone when he come on. He looked good on the ball. He was playing incisive passes. Looked a good player, and I think against Swansea, I'd like to see him from the start. Really, he may not last the whole game because he's coming back from injury, but I'd like to see him start for the experience and the quality that he's got. But I do worry about goals, to be honest. You know, I think if we're going to win, we're going to win 1-0 and defend well. But there you go. We've got some points on the board now. So if we want, it's not a bad way to go to start off with getting players back, because we do need players back if we're going to challenge in that top 8, to be honest. But yeah, it's a good effort from us, and well done. Decent turnout on a Monday evening, I guess. But yeah, let's go. Come on, you Lions.
Hi Nick, Matt Richards here, just dialing in my thoughts after last night's game. The main thought is just relieved. I mean, so good to get 3 points. Obviously, clean sheet as well, but we needed those 3 points. We needed a win at home. Alex Neil's talking about how we ended last season, and I know we did well at home towards the end of last season, but you know, this is this season, and despite we've had good results away from home, we needed to have a win. And I don't think it was a great performance. Definitely wasn't convincing, but it was, yeah, it's one where the points and the victory are more important than the performance for sure. So that was my main fault really. I mean, we were holding on, weren't we? That last 30 minutes seemed to drag on forever, and I think probably every fan was like me, looking at the bench thinking, well, when is he going to put someone on? We just looked knackered. And it's a criticism people say, I think anyway, he tends to delay his subs till like the 70th minute or 75th minute. And I think last night I heard that he was frustrated because it took 5 minutes to get the subs on. Well, that's what happens sometimes, you know. You can't stop the game to get your subs on, so you need to be prepared for that. But anyway, you know what, we rode our luck towards the end. Bender made that brilliant save where everyone in the ground thought that ball was just going into the back of the net, and it just stuck out a leg. So well done, Stephen Bender. And we got those three vital points really. I think on the game, and this is it, you got to think about the context of it. It's very early in the season. We've got so many injuries of proper first team players who, you know, they would be in, you know, the first team. So Alex Neil has not had a settled team or squad to pick from this season. And so to be where we are, like 10 points from 6 games, you've got to take that. You know, and then when the players come back, you know, we continue and we do better performances and perhaps creating more chances, because we didn't create anything in the second half. So that's I think that's the hope really. I thought players wise, well, I thought my man of the match was Kramer. Brilliant, especially in the second half. He was playing he plays like a leader, you know, like we say about Jake and about him being a leader and not being that vocal kind of leader on the pitch. But I think Kramer does that as well, you know. I think he plays like a leader. So that's great to see. I thought Joe Bryan, especially first half. I mean, I thought first half, we were better side in the first half, and I thought Joe Bryan down the left, once he got his passing going, was very good and dangerous, and played a few, at least 2 really good balls in. And I think Amaku, although it wasn't his best, not like his last game, I think he was a threat. He was a threat down the left. Bit frustrating. He just couldn't beat his man a couple of times, and you hear that he was sick at half time. But yeah, I think we're definitely doing well down the left. Just couldn't get those chances. Obviously, Coburn missed the chance. Jake with a free header. I thought Coburn, just on Coburn, he's getting a lot of stick. He worked his absolute bollocks off, and I know sometimes that's not enough, and I get that. But playing up front against those centre halves, and he's got to learn, and he needs to learn sooner rather than later. But it's a hard old shift. He was up there the whole match, and getting battered, getting absolutely fuck all from the referee, which was obviously frustrating. But we're probably used to that by now. But I think Coburn did well, aside from the miss. So Joe Bryan, good. Ryan Leonard, he was Ryan Leonard, wasn't he? He was really solid. I thought the defence did well. Midfield, I think the first half were okay. I think you've got to give, obviously you will, give Mazusaka, who's just learning. First start, first home game. There's lots of promise there. He faded away, and maybe his positioning wasn't great. He kind of drifted out of the game, especially second half. But yeah, really promising. And I thought Luongo did really well as well. Again, in the first half and the second half, I think all the whole team was a bit slow and tired. And Negley. Well, I mean, I don't know. He's just really lightweight, and he's not even just the slightness of play. It's like his passing. He underhits his passes. It's not sharp into feet, but he scored a great goal. He scored a good goal, because I think the keeper should have saved it. But he scored a goal anyway. He's scored 2 goals now, so I'm not going to criticise him too much. But he is one of those frustrating players. And I was looking at it yesterday, and I thought, bring Bangura Williams on for him, especially at 60 minutes, because I thought the game was opening up a bit, and Reis on the ball. He could have been quite dangerous. Who have I missed out? Oh yeah, Ballo, I thought he was all right. Again, you can't be too judgmental, because he's only just got in the team, new to the country, football wise. Some decent touches, and and the subs came on. Didn't really do much really. It's good to see Langstaff back, I guess. But we are where we are because of injuries, and obviously the big thing about Ivanovic being off. That was a bit of a shock, but as soon as he's picked up a shoulder injury as well. But I did like, actually, I think Smallbone looks like a really good player. You can tell he's Premier League. Some of the touches, especially the first couple of touches, and a little flick back. He caught Joe Bryan out in the box, and some of his passing was good. So looking forward to seeing a bit more of Smallbone. But I think that's it, really, Nick. I mean, I think it's, we're going away now to Swansea. We've got a really good away form, undefeated away. I don't think we've got anything to fear. We've got some players that are quite quick on the break. I think we're solid in defence. I think we can go away and we can get something from Swansea. I really do. And that sets us up for a couple more home games. So, I think we've got to be positive. Let's be positive, eh? Oh, bloody hell, there's too much negativity in the world. Let's be positive. So, let's take the 3 points and look on forward to Saturday. Okay, mate. Cheers, Nick. See ya. Come on, you Lions.
At last, the mighty Lions got a home game won, but they did so having to dig in and battle not only the visitors, but one of the worst referees ever seen at the Den. Just a solitary goal which came after just 9 minutes when Camille Negley stroked a wonderful shot into the top corner. And who knew he could take a free kick like that? The Lions might have added further goals. Josh Coburn nearly got on the end of a great pass from Ryan Leonard, and Macaulay Langstaff might have got one until shoved unceremoniously to the ground in the penalty area with only the goalkeeper to beat. But the referee, a Mr. Josh Smith, wasn't interested. It seems a shame to have to talk about a referee, but I think we're justified, as he gave Josh Coburn no protection all evening. Young Josh was pulled, shoved, battered and generally assaulted every time the ball got anywhere near him, but the lad didn't give up and led the line as well as he was able to do. Watford had their moments, but our defence is not an easy one to penetrate these days. And apart from 2 shots from distance, easily dealt with by Stephen Bender, they never really troubled us. And so we now have to arise at some ungodly hour on Saturday morning to travel to Swansea and hopefully make it worthwhile with another 3 points. The future is very bright. The future is Millwall. Come on, you Lions.
Well, Nick, considering we had 9 players on the treatment table before the game and 2 young players making their first team debut and getting used to their teammates, the 3 points were never going to be a gimme, were they? But a moment of quality from Negley was ultimately the difference between the 2 sides in a match that had very few chances. I thought our high pressing game in the first half gave Watford problems in getting the ball up the pitch. But for us to keep that up for 90 minutes was never going to be easy. And to be fair, our opponents got their passing game going in the second half. But we dug in, managed the game, saw the game out with dogged, resilient defensive performances all over the pitch. It's hard to pick a man of the match when it was such a good team effort, but Massimo Luongo gets it from me. As for the bollock chops of a referee, well, he certainly had his I'm not going to be intimidated by this Millwall crowd moment, did he? But in all honesty, it was just blatant cheating. Obtaining 3 points was the most important thing. And sometimes you do have to dig in, keep your discipline, keep your shape. And we did that in spades last night. The short cameo performance from Will Smallbone was a bonus and showed us what a valuable signing he's going to be. The downside, I think we now have 11 players out injured, don't we? But Swansea's up next and, 5 League and Cup games this season. We are undefeated away from home. So, come on you, young Lions.
Achtung, Millwall.
Who do you want to watch?
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.